Wow, we made it. Day 9 of our storybook card. We're going to put the whole thing together today. We're going to design a cover. We're going to glue everything together and have a beautiful little belly band with a design on it. It is going to be amazing. Now, you still have time to grab the supplies list and the templates. If you have not started yet, no worries. All the links have become active each day as we have provided a segment of this nice little project. Now, you probably got some notification via email, but you will also find the link to the countdown page on the Facebook page. And today is the last lesson, as it is October 11th. Remember, when you make all of this, make sure you post your make to the Facebook page. Take a couple of photos. We are going to put you into a draw for a really great little prize. Now, the supplies for today. We can have some white cardstock. This will depend what you want to do. Now, I put 8.5 by 11 cardstock for the card, but it's for the card cover. Still need our glue. We still need our scoring wheel stylus or pen for the joy and a scraper. So just make sure you have all of these. You don't have to have white here, and you can use your belly band for any color that you want. Now, templates for today. There are no templates. We are going to design the whole thing right from scratch. We will use Design Space to make our own cover. Now, one last thing, just a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that is Bette Makes Media, and subscribe so you get notice of all the free trainings that we give and all kinds of wonderful other stuff that we have. Now, let's head over to Design Space. I still have the one open from yesterday, or the day before, sorry. Now, let's grab the card. I still need to copy this over, so I'm going to grab the card. We can go Edit Copy or Control C. We are going to start a new project, and I'm going to edit and then paste it into place. And the reason I wanted that is so that I have a template to follow. All right, this will be my template for the cover, but we have a couple of other things that we are going to do in order to make this work for us. We're going to have a belly band, and we need to decorate that as well. So let us start right here with our card. I'm going to unattach it, so I'm going to detach it, and I'm just going to leave the score line here. But what I want to do is grab this, and I don't need the card itself. So what I want to do is unlock the size. I am going to add 1/2 an inch or more to the width. So I might just add an inch here. So I'm going to make this 11, but I'm going to leave the height at 5. That's perfect. Now, what I want to do here is take 2 score lines, so I have 1/4 of a score line in the middle. So that's going to be a little more of a complication on trying to figure out where this is going to go. So let us do a little trick here. I'm just going to move this out of the way. So what we know is we want 1/4 of an inch in the middle. So I'm going to start by, I'm going to take a separate line here. I'm going to take a shape. I am going to take a square. I'm going to unlock it. Now I want the width 1/4 of an inch, so that is 0.25. Perfect. And I want the height to be 5 inches. Now it's black. I'm going to change that to black. From black, I'm going to change it to color I can actually see. Let's make it purple. Perfect. Now, what I want to do is go here, and what I'm going to do is align, and I'm going to click on center. So now I have the fold that I want in the middle. Now we know the score, we could put score lines and we could fuss around with it, But let me tell you about a little secret about doing this. So we want the purple line. This is a square basic cut up here. Instead of basic cut, I'm going to change this to score. Now I've got it exactly in the middle where I want it. Now you're saying, well, it's going to score across the top. Well, what the heck, it doesn't really matter because we're going to cut there and I have everything placed exactly how I want it. So basically I don't need this other score line. I am going to delete it. But what I am going to do is I'm going to take this and I am going to attach it. Now I have my perfectly centered double score line without having to fuss around, simply by using a square, making it the width I want, fitting it onto the card, changing it to a score. So easy to do. So now we have our card cover all ready to go. Now, one of the problems we're going to have, of course, is a belly band. This one is 11 inches. I can't cut a piece 12 inches. However, I can cut top and bottom, but not the side if I want to, and get an extra piece. So what I'm going to do here to get our belly band piece, if I wanted it out of the same material, I can place it cut this way, or I can simply cut one on my own a little later. And I am going to cut mine from other cardstock, and I'm simply going to use my scissors pretty well to do that because we had a lot of leftovers from the other cards we were making. They had bands across it, so if you kept your scraps, this is going to be so easy to do. Now on the belly band, I want to make a design. I'm going to have some nested hearts. So let's grab a shape here. Let's grab a heart. Now that heart is 2 inches. I think it's going to be too big. So let me just go over here and change it to 1.5. Of course, I'm going to change it to red. Let's make it a dark red. Now I have a 1.5. I'm going to hold my Alt key down, or you can come over here and duplicate it. And I've already duplicated it here. Now this is 1.5. I'm going to make this 1. So now I have one that's going to fit inside. It's pretty small, so I'm going to make it 1.25. It's a little bit bigger, and I kind of like that. Now once again, I can duplicate from here. I can hold the Alt key down and drag it, or I can copy and paste it. So I'm just going to hold my Alt key down, drag it over. Now I had 1.25. How about making this 0.75? It's a little small. Okay, so let's just make it 1 inch. I've got the 3 hearts. I'm going to use my band. We're actually going to nest these. When we do that, we have this to cut. These will be on different pieces of paper, and we'll take it from there. All right, so we have everything ready to go here. I'm just going to save. I'm going to call this day 9. Day 9 storybook card cover. It's going into my cards collection, and I'm going to save it. Wonderful. All right, one last cut to do, and then we're going over to the demo table and we're going to put the whole thing together. Let's click on Make It. Now the hearts are going to go by themselves. That's just fine. And then of course you're going to have your larger piece here. That'll take a 6 inch by, it'll have to be over 8.5. I'm going to use a pattern paper on one side and plain on the other. And that's so I can do some other decorations with it. So that's all we need to cut. So let's get everything cut. I'll just click on continue here. And there's nothing else we need to do. So let's get that cut out and give yourself a second or two, pause the video, and then we're going to put everything together. All right, I have everything cut out, and I reminded you that I had some scrap papers from some of my other cuts. Now, these little belly bands, these are about 1.5 inches across. It doesn't really matter. and we're going to learn how to put those together. We have our 3 hearts that we made, and we're going to do something a little bit different with these. Now, this is another belly band I could use, but it is the same as the card, so I don't want to use that for this one. So I'm going to set that one aside and use it for a different project. Now, as you can see, I can't see it on the inside, but on the outside here, as I move it, you'll see that we've got the double fold that we made with our square, and you'll see having it score elsewhere didn't really make any difference. I'm just using my fingers this time to go ahead and push those score lines in. Hey, that looks great. Now, you've got to bring out all of those cards that you made. I've got mine hiding back here. And then we have to decide what order we want to have them in when you open the card. So my first one is going to be Happy Halloween. We'll close that up. The next one is going to be our Thanksgiving. Now you can have different designs, it doesn't matter. The next one is our ski with all of the different layers for our forest in the snow. And then our final one that we put together, of course, is the fireworks one. Now these are all going to fit together. They're all the same size. So you may wonder, do I want the top and the bottom to be glued to the cover? Well, yes I do, because when it pulls open, that's exactly what we're going to see. Now, the first thing I want to do here is glue the cards together in the order that I want them. So I'm just going to give them a little bit of glue on the outside edges here. Just want to make sure it holds together. I'm just going to make sure, grab this 2 together. I want to make sure we're opening the right way. Yes, we are. Tab them together like that, and then let's give them a nice smoosh so they hold together. And there we go. They're just going to come up this way. They're going to pop up the way we want them. All right, I'm going to add the glue to this one. And of course it had to move, right? I don't want too much glue here. And then I'm going to make sure this opens the right way, and it does. And then I'm going to line them up. Just squish them together. And then, of course, the last one's going to go in place, which is the fireworks. Once again, I'm just going to add some glue here. Just bang them into place. Now you may be saying, okay, let's just glue it onto the cover and away we go from there. Well, I want to make sure that the book line up inside here. So I'm going to add a fair amount of glue in the middle here. I want to make sure everything sticks. I usually don't use this amount of glue. However, this is pretty thick. We've got it all opening the way we want, just to make sure. Yes. Now, we are going to line this up. Make sure we get enough on the outside edges for everything, and then I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to push it down. I may have to hold that down for a little bit. I want to make sure that it seals and it glues in there quite readily. Now, while it's pushed down, make sure it stays there. I am going to glue the top and the bottom. I know it's raising there. And that's going to help seal it. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. You can see where it's raised a little bit, but that's okay because we are going to tuck it all in together here. Let's put a little more down here, make sure it stays. I want to line everything up. Now, I don't want to disturb it right now because I want to do our belly band next. Now, am I going in the wrong direction? No, this is the direction I need. Now, for a belly band, I could use a blue, I can use an orange, or whatever color I happen to have. Now, what I generally like to do is try to line this up as centered as possible and then just fold it by hand. And the reason I fold it by hand, I don't want it overly tight. And then I can come on the back side and line it up. And I want to make sure that it's lined up and make sure I can still put it together. So let's put my finger where it overlaps. I'm going to glue my belly band together. Me a chance to line it all up, and don't worry if you get a little extra, this glue does dry clear. Just hold it into place. Now this is the back side of the card, so don't worry about it so much. We're going to come to the front. Just make sure things can slide, and yes, they can. Now, last little thing I want to do is I want to do something really interesting with these hearts. So what I like to do generally is I'm going to roll it with a pencil just so we get a little bit of a curve just on the edge pieces. Now you can use a different type of tool with it that perhaps is a little more round. You could use a dowel. I have a dowel piece here, and it depends how thin you want to have it. I just use anything that I happen to have on my desk. So, I mean, I'm getting a nice little curve in here. I mean, there are different dowels and things that you can use for these. There are little curve tools. There's everything you can think of. There's these balls that you can grab. I just want to get more of a curve here. Now, paper is pretty flexible, so I could actually use this ball and make it curl right from the middle. So as you can see, I get a nice little curl because these are going to go on here, but we're going to nest them. So my next one is this size. I want to get it nice and curled. Now you don't need any special equipment for this. Just need a little imagination about what you're going to do with it. Now, I'm going to slightly move these off center. So let me just put a little glue on the bottom. I'm going to nest them, but I'm going to make them a little bit off center. There we go. There's the first two, and then I have my last one here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to give a bit of a curl. Now you could add a little gem in the middle or whatever you happen to have. And give it a little bit of glue here. Don't need a lot. You want it to be fairly loose. Just get it down there. Just push it down. And then once it's dried, you can curl these a little more. There we go. That is really cute. I'm just going to glue here on the bottom. Now I know red and orange aren't probably the perfect colors, because now you can do almost anything you want with these. You can add a little gem, you can add a button, you can do various things with it. If you have little bits and bobs hanging around, you could actually put a little glitter in the middle as well if you dare bring your glitter out. I don't know, I have lots of glitter around, and I've always been told that if I put glitter on something, make sure that I vacuum extremely well. So I just have these little tubes of glitter. So my easiest thing would be just to add it in the middle. I would love to put it on the outside edges, but I just have a very little bit. And I'm going to just put a little bit in there, so I don't need to. Now this is optional, but it gives a nice effect to your card. Now I see I've got a little extra here, so it looks like I will be getting the vacuum out. So here is our 9-day project. Let me move a lot of my stuff out of the way here so that we can concentrate on what we have. Now one of the things I have to remember to do is put the pin back in on my glue so it doesn't dry up. So we are going to give out this card. I can take the belly band right off. Now if I did it right, we're going to start off with Halloween, into Thanksgiving, into the snow, and finally the fireworks. So that is a storybook card. Now you can use your imagination as you go through here. You can make your kids a storybook. You can write your own stories and then just demonstrate with just small pieces of paper. Print, then cut, and then adding a few decorations. So there we go. We have our storybook card. I really hope you enjoyed this. I would love to see the ones that you have made by posting them so that we can offer a prize for those that had a lot of fun. You don't have to use my templates, but certainly use your own imagination and use some of the techniques we've been giving you as you go through that. So tomorrow the summit starts, and I will tell you, you are going to have a lot of fun. You are absolutely going to enjoy what we have to offer. And I'll tell you, right, there we go. It's our Holiday Craft Summit. And it is from tomorrow, October 12th, all the way through to the 14th. We have a couple of bonus trainings that are going to happen for All Access Pass members. And you are absolutely going to love this summit. And thank you so much for doing this project.